Tech in 20, Season 1, Episode 17. MathPix to OCR online math content for JAWS.
CATT, Center for Assistive Technology Training Northwest.
Welcome everybody to Tech in 20. I'm really excited to welcome Nick Leone this week. He is the Assistant Director of the Expanded Core Curriculum at the Indiana School for the Blind. Nick is going to explain a few hot topics for us today. He's going to explain what OCR is and how to use MathPix to OCR online math content. Off to you, Nick, and thanks for being here.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. All right, can you guys see that okay?
Yes, perfect.
All right, wonderful. So, what I have here is just a kind of a typical worksheet for maybe an 8th grader. So, what we're looking at today is optical character recognition, or OCR, for math content to easily translate it to accessible digital math, and then also be able to Braille it as well in that math. So first, I just wanted to show an example of kind of why using the OCR in this content is important before we get into the actual workflow. So this worksheet visually, it's formatted with fractions. It's got variables, different things that can be kind of complicated, especially for a screen reader. Even if it did have some accessibility, it's not necessarily going to be fully accessible unless it's formatted properly in the math content. But in this case, I'll show you guys what we experienced with this worksheet. So, I'll go ahead and turn on my JAWS. Okay, so all the written content in here is readable. We have some of the different labels here at the top. And then once we actually get to the problems, we have 1, simplify, and then it just says blank. So here we actually have 7n over 3n minus 18 plus n plus 3 over 3, but we get blank. On some of them, we don't even get that. So we get A marked, but all these, what I imagine the way these are formatted is that these are actually images built into the document and not actual accessible math content. Okay.
And sorry to interrupt, Nick, but
Yes.
I'm not sure if we're supposed to be hearing your JAWS.
Again? Oh no. Did
That's
that
okay.
last time.
That's okay.
Told myself I was gonna check too. Can you guys hear it?
Menus, screen sharing, meeting controls.
Yes.
Meeting controls.
Okay.
Got it now. Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys.
Task switching, blank. A right parent. Blank.
Okay.
Heading level 3 simplify. Sheena Woods has left the waiting room for this meeting.
So here we just hear
Blank.
simplify
Sheena Woods has
and
joined the
blank.
meeting. A right parent.
A,
B right parent.
and then just keep skipping through the options, even though there's a ton of math content here and nothing's being read. Okay. So, what this workflow will allow you to do is turn this into accessible digital math through Word and also translate it as well. So the tool that I'm going to be using for this is called MathPix. There are some different options out there. MathKicker is another option. I haven't used Equatio much, but it has
Amy
other
Jacobs for the
features.
waiting room.
But one of the things that you can
Amy
do
Jacobs has entered the
is
waiting.
also OCR some of this content. But there's a couple of different reasons why I like MathPix. Now, the one disclaimer I'll
Amy
give
Jacobs
is that
for the waiting room.
in some cases it's not fully accessible.
Task
The
switching.
app
JAWS
is
home at the read second
because
Zoom
there
cat
are a
match
couple
snipping tool match key. Amy Jacobs
features
has joined the meeting.
that make it a little bit more difficult. So MathPix itself will take a snip of an image, or you can upload an entire PDF. So MathPix is the first thing that we'll be using to OCR it. So for the snip, you're actually dragging a window like a screenshot, something like that. So that part's not accessible. And then the app itself is not great with a screen reader. So it might be one that, visual users might use instead. MathKicker, on the other hand, it does allow you to upload PDFs. You can't necessarily section off certain parts, but you can upload an entire PDF into MathKicker and convert it to math content. And that one is accessible with the screen reader.
From Deborah Armstrong
In
to
most
everyone.
cases, that is enough to be able to upload a PDF. The times where I do use the snip tool is when maybe I just want kind of one section of the worksheet, or in some cases, if it's really complex formatting, then when you upload the PDF, it can kind of be a mess. And so there have been times where I go through equation by equation and take screenshots of it because that takes less time. You can still upload the entire PDF. It just might involve more cleanup with that. So before we actually get into the demo, I'll talk about the other parts. So MathPix or MathKicker or other, possibly Equatio for Math OCR is the first part of it. And then the rest I'll be doing within Word with, and we'll be using MathType to convert the equations. When it's first put into Word, it puts it in the Microsoft markup language, and we want to be converted to MathType so that then we can use the Tiger platform or the Tiger add-in to be able to translate it to Math. And just a real quick comment on some of the pricing for these. So most of these either have a paywall or some subscription price. MathPix is free for educators, and you get 10 free snips a month, so you can use the screenshot one of those. However, uploading a PDF doesn't count towards that paywall. So for me, I'm actually using just the educator, the free version. If you're doing a lot, then you can upgrade to different versions, and they're all pretty reasonable. MathPix, or the next version up, I think is about $5 per month, and you get hundreds of images for that. And then for MathType, we have that one's also subscription. For one user, it's about $66 per year, so also not too expensive there. And then the Tiger software suite, the add-in that we'll use for Word, that comes with the Pix Blaster embossers from APH, but it also comes with any View Plus embosser that you might purchase comes with the Tiger software suite. So I believe the one that I'm using is still a couple versions old, so it's like the Tiger software suite 7. All right, so for the first part, we're going to go ahead and take this equation and we're going to convert it into a Word document. So we upload a PDF.
File name : upload PDF dialog. File name : edit combo. To set the value, use the arrow keys or type the items view.
I have this one saved in here.
Expression, enter. MathPix snipping tool PDF converter dialog.
And then there's a couple different options that you can
button.
use.
Select format combo box. DOCX to change XLSX left. DOCX MathPix markdown.
To actually translate it. Most of these I actually haven't utilized because I typically always follow this workflow for this. So for this, we're just going to make sure that the format is docx, and then it's going to convert and down.
Quizzes-rational expressions.pdf button to activate. Press spacebar. Enter. Downloads. Items view multi-select list box. Today expanded. Quizzes-rational expressions left parent 1 right parent.
So once we do that, it opens up our downloads window and we have the Word document that's already created.
Opening dashboard. Opening dashboard. Opening dashboard.
My Word's being a little slow to open. All right.
Quizzes-rational expressions left parent 1 right parent dashboard. Edit.
And then now we have our Word document. All this has been converted. So kind of going back to some of the previous sessions, we've talked about the math content here and how this is readable if it's converted into math content. So that is what MathPix did. So at this point, this is actually a workable, accessible digital worksheet without doing anything more. So as we go through and navigate this,
class white square, total worksheet, date white 1. A right parent. Simplify math content fraction 7n over 3n minus 18. N fraction plus n plus 3 over 3. N fraction. Charlene
We
Chandler
can
left
see
away the room.
that the equation is converted. It's in math content. It's fully readable as it's supposed to
Charlene
be.
Chong put
And
away the
then
room.
this is also
Charlene Chong put away the room.
accessible on
Charlene Chong has
a
entered the
Braille
waiting room for this.
display, and we'll read in Nemeth as well too here. And so this can actually be edited here. It could be saved. If the student is doing it
Charlene Chong
solely
has left the waiting
digitally,
room for
they
this.
can actually just do it from this and send it in.
Charlene Chong has joined the meeting.
But then the next step would be if we want to actually turn it into want to quickly Braille.
Menu to navigate,
So,
press up or down arrow. Slash stop recording submenu. Left brace leaving menus.
So here
Edit.
I have the add-ins in my Word document. This does take a little bit of setup if you don't already have MathType or Tiger added into your Microsoft Word. And then all this is still fully accessible too, but I think as far as the key commands go, it might vary a little bit. I'm using the quick access ribbon key commands. It might vary a little bit depending on what order you have these in. So for me, when I hit Alt,
ribbon, expanded, ribbon, home tab selected,
MathType
Alt follow
is going to be Y1.
Y1, leaving menus, leaving ribbons, edit.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to convert these equations. So again, these equations right now are in the Microsoft markup language, which doesn't translate to Nemeth with the Tiger software, or doesn't translate to Braille with the Tiger software without this step of converting it. I will also note too, if you're creating any equations using the equation editor, you can use the same workflow without OCRing a pre-made worksheet, but you still need to do this step first, which is converting the equations.
Upper ribbon, expanded, ribbon, MathType tab Y1.
So after Y1, we go to
YC
to convert equations. And it'll take a second here to load.
Leaving ribbons, Y1, convert equations, equation types to convert MathType.
So I already have this kind of set up and defaulted. It gives you a couple different options on the equation types that you want to convert. But the big one that we want is going to be the fourth one down, which says Word 2007 and later OMML equations, Office Math Markup Language equations.
Equation types to convert Word 2007 and later left parent OMML right parent equations checkbox checked. So clear check.
So you have to make sure that box is checked and then you just hit enter.
Enter. Selected math content to activate the math viewer. Press enter. Edit. Selected space. Selected space.
So it's going through and converting the equations right now.
Selected space.
It only takes a couple minutes. This is a 2-page worksheet, so even for this size, it just takes a couple minutes there.
Selected space. 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 Selected space.
And then once we're done with this, it'll actually say how many equations it's converted. I think for this one, it's basically 60 equations.
Selected space. 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 Selected space.
Okay, almost done there going through these. And then, so while it's finishing up, so it did 57 equations there.
Equation objects. OK button to activate. Press space bar. Enter. Edit. Check for new summary.
Oh, I may have jinxed myself. I think I may have accidentally canceled it real quick midway through. So what I'm going to do here real quick is open up the previous one that I practiced with before. Instead of going back to it. So at this point, what it should look like.
Convert equations, equation types.
Is there will be kind of a slightly different window. It'll still all be MathType content, but there will be, instead of the OMML equation, it'll have a separate box around it that looks slightly different. To a screen reader, it's not necessarily going to change any, but it will have the converted versions. And make sure this translates properly real quick one more time.
This meeting is being transcribed.
And I think part of the reason this is taking a little longer with this is that because I have a lot going on with the computer, sharing the screen and having Zoom on it as well too.
Microsoft Word document to activate, press space bar.
All right, let's give this a try.
Edit.
All right, so now we're going to go to Tiger.
This site can access your location. Change the setting in the address.
And then this is where we'll actually translate the document. So again, it kind of varies on how your Word is being set up. But for this one, I'm going to hit Alt, Y4, and then
X, leaving menus, leaving ribbons, Y4X, view, enter, translation progress.
All right, hold on for just a second, guys.
Quizzes dash rational expressions, left parent to right. Save button to activate. Quiz print view, edit. Convert equations, equation types to convert : MathType or equation editor equations. Quizzes dash rational expressions, left parent to right parent dash word. Page 2, edit.
And of course, this is always how AT demos go, because I tried this 3 times before, it all worked perfectly, and then we hit a couple little glitches. So we'll give this one more try on translating.
This is just technology's way of keeping everything exciting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But great way to teach our students resilience. And we always keep the sweat inside as we project peace and zen if this happens with a student. Although while we're waiting on this, ideally, just a reminder that these sorts of remediation workflows where we're preparing stuff for, digital accessibility, this is stuff that we do want to do before the student gets in the room. Because our students are entitled to walk into the room and have things already prepared. So, I joke about this as a case for teaching students resilience, but that would more so be troubleshooting other tech and not this specifically, because this is definitely a tool that we would use on our back end as part of the prep and something that you could potentially train your support staff to do at a school site. So it really does take a village to support a really good digital workflow. And, just think about what you might need to train up some support staff to use tools such as this.
Yeah, definitely. And there are some other things too as well. I'm going through this pretty quickly, but once it's actually, before it's even converted necessarily to MathType, you might want to clean it up a little bit. One thing that I do a lot with these things is there's always periods after these, and I always delete those periods. I go through and kind of find and replace some of this stuff. So it did translate it properly this time. So I think it might have been because I had done this document a couple times. But it's more of a drag and drop box here instead of the typical math content window. So this can't be edited at this point. So if you want to use the digital math worksheet, you stop at the last step. If you want to convert it to Braille, then you convert it to MathType, and then we're going to go into Tiger, and we'll do this again. So we translate the document. And this is going to open up the View Plus window, and it's going to translate all this content. So again, this is, if everything works properly, this is about a 5-minute
left parent unified right parent : translating to Braille ... type in text.
And so what's happening here on the page is all of the math content is being converted to Sim Braille, and then I can just send this right over to my embosser. So it's formatted in Nemeth. I have my profile set up for Nemeth already. It's got the numbers, it's got the Nemeth switching code. Obviously, you would still want to, either visually proofread this through the sim Braille or emboss it once and proofread it that way too. Just
JAWS
to make sure
translation
that the
progress. Enter
content
left
is
parent unified right
working
parent
or
colon
that
translating to
everything
Braille.
converted properly, especially for a big worksheet like this. So I think I'm overpowering my computer a little bit right now.
This definitely does justify the purchase of a higher power computer too.
Yes. So, because it looks like it got stuck about halfway through.
So Nick, about how much cleanup do you usually find yourself having to do with this tool and this workflow?
It depends. I normally, so one thing I'll try to find worksheets that are laid out a little bit more simply. If there's a lot of images and things like that that are in there, then it can be
Translating quizzes rational.
Sorry, try to finish that translation one more time. If there's a lot of images and stuff, it involves a lot of deleting, all kinds of different stuff there. So it can be a little bit more complicated.
Translation progress edit.
So,
English left parent unified right parent colon translating to Braille
but for elementary worksheets, sometimes there's plenty of times where I can just pop it right through there and it comes out just fine. So normally it's kind of the extra characters. It always does pretty well with the actual Nemeth translation. It's just if there might be specific formatting. And sometimes I go through too, because when you go through in Tiger, all the extra lines and stuff get automatically deleted as well. So after some practice, you figure out which stuff you might need to review or remove and which stuff will just be deleted there naturally. So did finish the translation. So all this is completed and visually you can see on here, it's not going to read with the screen reader at this point, but it's translated into Nemeth. It's got the Nemeth switching codes where appropriate. And this is something that I can send over to the embosser. And that is it for this workflow. Apologize for the small technical difficulties, but hopefully you guys found that helpful.
Great. Fantastic. And good thing you already had that turkey bacon in the oven, right? Always key for a good demo. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for coming back to share another demo with us and sharing your expertise with our community. And everybody, that is it for our Tech in 20 this week, where we meow at your tech needs. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and hope to see you next time.
CATT, Center for Assistive Technology Training Northwest.
The contents of this video were developed through a partnership with the American Printing House of the Blind, APH. CATT Northwest is based at the Washington State School for the Blind, WSSB. Logos, WSSB and APH. The contents of this video were developed under a contract authorized by the Department of Education. However, these contents do not necessarily represent the policy of the Department of Education, and you should not assume endorsement by the federal government.